Yo, yo. I go by Rocky. I'm an astrologer, taromancer, poet, artist, creator, and all that stuff. Wanted to do a check-in on what to be aware of for this week with all of the transits that are happening, which is posted on my blog, just a brief description of what to be aware of for each particular day and this weekend. But with us being in a current Mercury retrograde and with this upcoming new moon phase, I wanted to do a quick check-in on what to be aware of specifically before the new moon arrives and what could be communicated to you, given, how this may be showing up in your chart astrologically and what the cards have to say. I hadn't really said this in any of the other ones. I only said that hey Mercury. I've only said this in another one of the videos. But this is what I would like to call a rocks starology read or rocks tarology read, however. Because I take a look at astrology and I incorporate it with the cards. Yeah. I guess I'll give a little bit of a background info on one of my podcasts soon. So just a little about me. But I'm breaking the videos up into specific energies because I wanted to do something different and I wanted to see how the energies would communicate. In this particular video, I will be focusing on Aries and Scorpio and what messages may be popping up for you or what energies to be aware of for this week. However way you put it, sidereally or tropically, we are dealing with Saturnian energy. So tropically, we're dealing with 7 planets in Aquarius, and we're dealing with 7 planets in Capricorn, sidereally. Okay. Alright, so I will probably add, there was some cards that came out while I was cleansing from the last video that I recorded, which was Mercury's reading. And 7 of Swords came out, but in this deck. But moving forward, any way you flip it, we're dealing with Saturnian energy. And the reason why I brought that up was because Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn. So there could be things coming into your awareness about how things have culminated in the sense of the changes that have come about, especially when it comes to your social circle or your interpersonal circle, how you view certain things, how things were brought to certain light for you, and how you were able to process that information. Okay. So funny because the card that came out, actually, the card that came out was, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's the Wheel. This naturally talks about the natural transformation of things, the natural process of things, the natural process of motion, the natural process of energy. From a tropical point of view, that's what I forgot to add. I knew it was something I forgot to add. When I speak about the signs, Aries, Scorpio, I'm speaking from the perspective of if it is your rising sign, but it can be applicable to your rising, your moon, your sun, your Mercury, your Venus, and your Mars. And I say that for the faster moving planets because that is the energy that is the most prominent in how we show up. And the slower moving planets are essentially the foundation of where we emerge from energetically and how we show up, right? All right, so back to what I was saying. Tropically, Aries, I'll start with Aries. Tropically, Aries, Aquarius is in your 11th house. The natural order. If you know where that's from, you type. But yes, the natural process of things, right? So you would be feeling what the collective is feeling, but more potent, because Aries, the energy is you, is how you show up. There have been changes within how things have come to form for you, and how you personally understand that, because you're so go go go. Your Martian energy is like Saturn's getting you to slow down a bit and be like, okay, there are certain things that you have to be aware of when it comes to your moves. Now, from a sidereal point of view, if you want to look at it from Capricorn, that's in your 10th house. So, yeah, it's in your 10th house. So, how things have solidified for you, as far as physically, as far as energetically, emotionally, mentally, financially, how these things have solidified are coming to the forefront for you, right? And with this Mercury retrograde, with Mercury being in tropically Aquarius or sidereal Capricorn, it's asking you to take a step back to really review, your understanding with everything that has transpired, okay? Now, Scorpios, this energy is fluctuating, well, either way you flip it, is in between your 3rd and your 4th house, right? So this could be how you speak up for yourself, how you speak things into your life, how you speak things into existence or think things into existence, or how things have been thought or spoken into existence for you and or around you. You could be understanding why your natural sense of detachment when it comes to connecting to certain things, you're understanding where the root of that comes from. You're understanding a different aspect of it as you sit and reflect on it, especially during this time of Mercury retrograde, which is asking you to review your thoughts, review your processing, how you analyze and go about certain things, especially the way that you speak. There's a natural process with this that you, Scorpio, may have a bit of conflict with, because you are essentially fixed sign. You hold certain energies in the way that Scorpios hold particular energy, because of because of the way that they energetically manifest. They carry some potent energy. They don't carry just, one planet's energy. They also carry Pluto's energy, which is the generational psychological planet. It talks about, your psyche. It goes deeper into sex and the creation and formation of it. It comes not even just sex, but like the energy of sex, how things are created, right? And the long term or longevity of those effects, right? So Saturn can help us to see how these things form, and then Pluto helps us to give a aspect of, I guess Pluto would essentially be the long-term culmination of Jupiter and Saturn's energy. It's so funny, we've been talking about this Saturn and Jupiter conjunction energy that's been going on for quite some time, that this is literally writing the script for what's to come long term, right? And Jupiter is helping us to see the bigger picture of things and why Saturn's energy formed the way that it did, right? So again, with Scorpio, because of everything that has culminated, you have a hold on specific energies that may need releasing, or you are coming to understand why you hold on to certain things the way that you do. Okay? And I feel like there is a natural process of transformation that, especially Scorpios, they should be used to. But again, because they're that fixed energy, it could be some rigidity in allowing things to be fluid, you know. There could be some, you know, there's a want to emerge from this. There's a want to fly free from whatever was essentially I was about to say captivating. It could have been somebody charming you. Essentially, you come to realize what you realize why certain things have this natural process of ending and beginning. It's not just, you know, you as a person, it's also the circumstances around you. And though you may change as a person, sometimes those circumstances that you were in as you were changing do not change with you. And you're wondering why, you know, certain things haven't emerged yet or haven't grown yet. And it's because it cannot reach you at the depth that you are, Scorpio. With Aries, there were these changes that came about, especially when it came to your sense of self. And it shook you a bit. It shook you to your core because there were changes that came with some of the movements that you made that you weren't expecting. And with all the changes that have transpired, and it could have, okay, from a tropical point of view, last year or 2019, around the end of 2019, I believe, we were first in Uranus in Aries before it transitioned into Taurus, right? And there was a lot of this, like, the changes that came about came in a way that you couldn't really forget. And it shook up what you thought you knew, what you thought you were sure of, what you thought you had a handle of, what you thought you had great knowledge on, what you thought you could be sure in moving forward with. Things didn't seem so sure. Things didn't seem so certain. So then, after you came to this certain point of accepting these changes that came about as it was ending in Aries, tropically, when it transitioned into Taurus, and then I think it went retrograde again, it was like, okay, I made all of these changes for what? So now, with Uranus being in direct in Taurus, it's like, why move? You know, for some people. For some people, it's like, why move? Why even move? Why even try? For what? As soon as I make a move, it's just going to be different. Like, for what? You could be dealing with a Cancer. You know, it's like, what? Why? You know? For others, there could have been moves that were made, and though this energy is moving with you, now there's more that needs to be added on to the game. And now it's like, but I just added this one. I just did this. I just did that. When do I get a break? For others, because wow, these are a lot. So it's 3 different types. So choose which one you're in. Choose which one is for you. Stick to your lane. For some of you, it could be to a point where you have exerted so much energy that you are burnt out. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to do what? So it could be essentially a flip side of what I just said. So with the first example, what I said prior to what I'm saying now, it was from a perspective of, oh shoot, I didn't know How could I? Okay, wait. There's a way that I thought about it, and I can determine the two frequencies, and the distinction between them is just verbalizing it. And of course, Mercury, you know, being in retrograde and speech and things like that. Okay. With the first example, that, oh man, I didn't know this, you know, came with that. It was purely from an impulsive move, right? Like you just did something in the spur of the moment and you weren't aware of the effects that would come after that. With the example that I'm getting back to now, that feeling over exerted or overworked, is like you've done this great big task and then you just suddenly remember that you have to do something else, but you're too burnt out to do it. So it wasn't from a sense of not knowing or impulsivity. It was just simple forgetfulness, maybe, or even just I'm tired, you know. If you have Aries in your chart, specifically Mercury in Aries, you may come to realize that there were times where you could have communicated that and you didn't, and you either have some built up resentment for not verbalizing this, or you have created this with another person because you didn't communicate how tired you were, or you didn't, you know, there was something that you missed. Maybe you didn't show up, and that came off to a person a certain type of way, like you were neglectful, or like you really didn't care, or something like that, you know. Okay. So, funny enough. Funny enough. Okay, let me. So now that I've, you know, pretty much given a brief little description about, you know, where this energy is in your chart, astrologically, going back to the tarot card, the clarifier for the natural process of things is the Two of Swords. But in this particular deck, it speaks about harmonizing two sides of two different aspects, but merging them into one. So there could have been some things that you were not accustomed to, especially with, and I've said this in another video as well where I touched up on this, Mars retrograde late last year. I want to say it was around October. I think so, around October. Excuse me. There was all of this pent up energy, and there were certain moves that you wanted to make that you felt maybe restricted in, and or there was this moment of coming to realize why you wanted to move in a different direction out of impulse. It's like everything is falling together naturally, right? Something could have happened 2 months, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 hours ago, right? And it got you to understand why you took a specific turn. It showed you why you had your eyes set on a specific goal. Especially for Scorpios, it could have shown you why you had this inner knowing, this sharp I can't even describe how keen the awareness was to know why a particular event happened, or why you felt a certain way about a certain person, or why you even said the things that you said. And it could have been out of impulse, but as you reflected on it, you started to see why you said the things that you said, or why you did the things that you did. Stemming back to this moon in Aquarius that was, or Seven of Swords that was at the bottom of the deck. This could be in relation to your relationships with people. So you could have seen why you took a break from certain relationships or certain connections, or why you don't resonate with certain people anymore. You're coming to understand why certain things didn't work out. You're coming to understand why you didn't move in a certain direction, or why you didn't need to move in a certain direction, or why you were prevented from moving in a certain direction. Especially when I keep saying Mercury. So maybe last Mercury retrograde, something happened as well. And let me actually take the time to look into that right now. Here we go. Because I can't remember the date specifically, but I do want to say, okay. So last Mercury retrograde was from October 14th to November 3rd. So whatever happened around that time, you're starting to see why certain things transpired. Especially for Scorpios, because that would be around your birthday time. So maybe something happened around your birthday. Okay. See, it came out again. This is the card that fell on the ground, so definitely when it comes to this networking, you're coming to see why your intuition, Scorpio, was spot on. Or Aries, you're coming to see why you didn't build with certain people, why you took a rest from certain people, why certain people took a rest from you. And the same could be for Scorpio, why certain people took a rest from you. A natural water. And I can't get you out of my head. Oh, you got 3 cards. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even notice this. Okay, so some of you could be dealing with a relationship, an intimate relationship. You're coming to understand why you guys don't resonate on the same frequency anymore, and that you needed to do your own solo dolo. You needed to move forward in confidence because you knew. That is really specific for Scorpio, because you knew. And it's so funny because you have the 2 of Cups here, which signifies, like, it usually traditionally talks about reciprocity. How things are poured into one another to ensure security in a relationship, or feeling balanced or nurtured, equally yoked within a relationship. But I feel like this is within yourself, because this is 2 halves of one person. So you're bringing 2 aspects of yourself together, and you're coming to understand certain things. You're coming to understand what was disconnected. It's finally connecting. The math is mathing. All right. I wanted to say something. Yes, I did. Where's that Venus card? So, God diggity dang it. I can't remember which card it... Oh, it was this. It was 2 swords. So this is... It's Libra, but I forgot if it's Moon in Libra. Well, I take a lot of notes. Like a lot. Alright, I'll just use this one. That's not the one I want to use. 2 swords. Yep, it is Moon in Libra. I should have just went with my intuition. Some of you could be having that moment where you're like, oh, I should have just went with my intuition because you knew, you know? But you're coming to understand why you knew. Because this is Libra, this is ruled by Venus. Libra is ruled by Venus, not this. Libra is ruled by Venus, and it is the opposing sign to Aries, which again is ruled by Mars. And it is also, Venus also rules Taurus, which is the opposite of Scorpio. Did I say Venus? Yes, Venus rules Taurus, which is also the opposite of Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars. I just wanted to be sure I said that right. So there's this balance that needs to come in with this Venusian aspect. Maybe you need a bit more love towards yourself. Maybe you need to be a bit more gentle towards yourself and not beat yourself up if you didn't take action on your inner knowing. Maybe, yep. Damn, dog. Okay. You're being asked to come to a understanding and acceptance that you just merely having the intuition to know is enough. Is it enough? Well, it's asking you, is it enough for you? Not so much that you didn't take action on it, but the fact that you knew. Not a lot of people can say that they know. Okay? Not a lot of people can say that they know. So Saturn is asking you, as you're establishing your Taurian aspects or reestablishing your Taurian aspects, how you come to love and show love towards certain things, or how the love even originally came about. As you're coming to form this newness, especially with this new moon that's coming up, how are you going to, one, allow yourself that grace and show yourself that love? Like, hey, I had I had that inkling, like I knew, you know what I'm saying? I knew. Is that enough? Because as you hone in on that gratitude, it begins to grow. But you have to come to that awareness. Nobody else can do that for you. For Aries, you may be finding out why you need to be in solitude for the time being, because it is going to help you in your confidence and reestablishing your sense of self with everything that has transpired in your 12th house as not your 12th house, your second house, as Uranus was in Taurus tropically. Scorpio, as this is in your 7th house, you are learning, Mars essentially, you are learning how to flow with the changes of these relationships, and you're not holding on or gripping onto the old foundation of which these relationships were built from. There's a reason why you are traveling on your own path with the sage wisdom that you have, which is also Sagittarius to me, which I will add. Go watch Sagittarian and Pisces reading. Everybody's being guided to go to that reading because they have a message that everybody should resonate. Well, everybody I feel would resonate to, given the Jupiter energies that are happening currently, and utilizing that energy to see the bigger picture of why things were established the way that they were and how those things came about. Okay. Yeah. And I find this funny because Aries, this is the 8th card in the major arcana, and Scorpio is your 8th house. So I wonder if you have planets, if one of your personal solar system planets are in Scorpio, especially if it is your Venus your Mars, your Mercury. I'll even go as far as saying your moon too. How have these things transpired to you? How have these things communicated to you? And another thing that I wanted to add, yes. Sidereally, Aries, Uranus and Mars are in your sign. So not only are you feeling it in your second house of Taurus, you would probably be feeling it in your first house as well. So there is natural order. It's literally in the stars, planets, planes, for these changes to come about, because Uranus is conjunct Mars. The unconventional changes with the energy of action, the energy of motion, energy in motion. These changes are coming about, and the wheel is spinning regardless, and is asking you where you want to step foot in this journey. Do you want to take what you've learned from your 8th house and apply it to your 9th house, which is that higher wisdom, which is the long-term learning that you take with you as you are building towards new networking, new communities, new friendships and people, right? And leaving the old shit behind. Leave that old mess that's not yours behind. Especially Scorpio. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go, child. Let it go. Yeah, I think that is all I have for Aries and Scorpio. Yes, it is. Hopefully these messages serve you as far as what to be aware of for your week, what to keep in mind during this Mercury retrograde, and what to be aware of as you utilize this new moon energy to your advantage however you please. So, bet.